Mr. Cubera.
And look at those teeth.
We've been looking for.
Show those teeth to the camera.
Dinner, son. All right, we got this Cubera Snapper here. Tyler behind the lens is going to use these jaws, and he's going to make a. You're going to make a what out of it?
I'm going to try to boil them.
Boil them, and he's going to use the jaws
On the mantle.
on the mantle. There you go. So I'm going to show you guys how to fillet a Cubera Snapper, because as you can see, they're very hard and the scales are very big. It's kind of difficult to get through these scales, as you can see. And this is a sharp knife. The number one thing you want when you're filleting these things is a very sharp knife, and you just got to work your way through the scales. That's the best technique. So I'm going to go ahead and start here, and I always start my first cut right around here, but as you see, like, you got to kind of wiggle your way in through the scales, and you kind of knock the scales off as you go, and then just kind of, and after each cut you kind of want to wipe the scales away. Then from there, now that I made that main cut, you don't try and stab into the scales. There's a spot right here, right along the spine where there's a soft spot. That's where your knife will slide right in without very much effort. And that's going to be the spot where you're going to make your first entry. So it just slides right in, and minimal effort, and you don't really have to fight the scales. So now that I made that cut, I'm going to work my way back toward the tail, just riding right along the bone there. And see, this is another soft spot. It's just kind of some smaller scales there rather than these big giant ones. And now that I kind of scraped along the backbone, I'm going to flip it over. So now that I flipped it over, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm not cutting the fillet off all the way, because when you take that fillet away from one side, the body kind of dips down, and then it makes it a lot harder to fillet because it's not a smooth, even fillet. It's going to have a hump in it because of that missing side. So I like to do half the fillet, flip it over, and then do the other half. So now I'm just going to continue along, right along the soft spot on the spines. Every once in a while, you really want to clear those scales. As you can see, they're definitely building up on the knife, and they inhibit the way the knife's going to cut. You also don't want to shove them all into the meat either. So now that I'm at the tail, you kind of want to just kind of work it over the bone, aim it down, and then straight along until it comes free. Now that I made my cut, I'm just going to continue, or you can flip it back over and work the other side. Doesn't really matter. But as I do it, I just kind of lift the meat up with each cut, and then what you're doing is you're kind of seeing what you're doing rather than feeling what you're doing. You just want to make sure that you're just riding right along the backbone. See, on that one I've got a little bit of a bone there. Just scrape it at a downward angle, and as you can see, I'm just kind of gently lifting. You don't want to squeeze on the meat too hard because you'll leave fingerprints in it. The rib cage is kind of tricky. Instead of cutting through it, you can just ride along it. And then you don't cut into the guts and have the guts come out and all that nastiness. Right, Tyler?
Yes, gross.
So here, scraping away, working along the tail. It's just important to have that downward angle. That downward angle is what really helps you get all that meat, and especially on the other side of the backbone. So I'm just kind of folding the meat as I go. There's that. And then rib cage, and it should just fall right down when it's ready. As you can see, it makes a nice, clean, easy way to fillet your Cubera Snapper. And there's that beautiful slab of meat. That is an awesome piece of meat right there. So now you're halfway done on the other side. You don't really have to worry about, like I said, kind of having that weird angle. That weird angle's still there because now it's missing half the fillet, but it makes it a little easier this way, I've found. Alright, so I haven't punctured into the ribs, and I'm riding right along. Sometimes the fin gets a little stuck in there, but we'll trim it afterwards. And there's our 2 slabs of meat, and I'm going to throw this in the water.
Oh!
I'm just kidding.
No! Oh! Yeah, baby, so close. Nice. Woo!
And there's
There we go.
there's the jaws.
Perfect. And I'll play doctor on that later and clean that up.
Now a lot of meat's actually in here. If you really want it, the throat. People do a lot with the throat. There's a lot of meat in there. It just depends how much you want it. We have plenty of meat here. So we saw this once on a movie. Now we're gonna see how well this hacksaw works. Cut these lips out.
I'm gonna figure out the best way to go about this. Man, alive. There's gotta be an easier way to do this. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Hashtag progress.
You know, it's just a meat on there. There you go.
Dude, that's the way to do it right there.
Now you got the jaws. Alright, let's go boil them.
Cool.
Throw this in the lids.
I buried mine. There you go.
The coons have fun with it. Get this boiling. Let's rig all the way up on high. Alright, whenever you're ready. Plop her in.
Now wait for it to boil first. Should be super hot.
Going in.
Oh yeah, it's perfect on the water.
Perfect. Wow. I just want to say right now, do not do this at home.
Do it outside.
It is so stinky.
Do it outside. Oh, there's some meat falling. Ah, it's so hot. Hold on, you got a glove?
Yeah, right here. Ava's probably like, what is that smell? Molly's probably like, it smells good. What's going on? What is this?
Ah. There we go. It's all,
It needs more boil.
no, it's pretty,
How do you get that off of there?
with your hands.
No.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like it need. Ooh, just got fogged out. It needs more boil. Or does that peel off?
It's peeling right off.
The hardest part is just getting like all the meat and the tissue and the fat like out of the crevices of the head.
Sure. What about the top jaw? How the heck? Guess you gotta figure that out.
Yeah, it's like a big puzzle piece.
Alright. Tyler poured the peroxide in the bowl. And now you just wait for it to bleach out the jaws, I guess. And they get nice
Yep.
and pretty and white.
I'll take all the extra fat and I'll see all the stuff that I missed is kind of coming off, and then it'll be nice and white and clean, and then we'll puzzle it together, and you can already see how white it's getting. It doesn't take very long. Piece it together.
You do that with my teeth. It's coming along here. Tyler's getting it piece by piece.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep, that's gonna slide right in there just like that. Cool.
Super glue.
Nice. Yeah, I'll slide in there just like that. Actually looks like a fish now.
Yeah, now Tyler's got the top jaw put together. And after that it'll be ready to glue onto the bottom jaw. These two pieces came together. Those go across. And boom.
Boom.
And I got the eggs cooking over here.
Just about finished here, hopefully.
Sweet. Got this. Cubera jaw mount. Successful.
Almost finished. Just need this piece to hold.
That's them. Completely done. Big old buck teeth, vampire fangs, whatever you want to call them. There's the gill rakes, but it's pretty cool.